So you've arrived. You've entered a crazy game. It's a game that at first you struggle to understand. And as you look around with your pure, untarnished eyes, you see many others in this game. But they have no idea why they're in it. They have no idea why they play. They just aimlessly play.
But since you're new in this game, they think they must provide you with the vital information of how the game works and what you should do. And it's in that moment that that bright light that you are gets dimmed somewhat. You now observe these other players. You observe your environment, and now you quite naturally emulate what you see, you accept what you hear, and you replicate how they play the game. For it seems there is a blueprint to follow. You are told to follow. You soon learn that the best way to get by in this game is to conform to this blueprint that seems to be laid out before you. But it's this that shapes your perceptions and creates your beliefs. It's this that places an unstable ladder in front of you. And it's this that starts the competition and your struggle for survival. Before long, you think like the others. You make similar decisions to the others. Your direction and path now seems much the same as the others. And you're led to believe that you belong to a certain team, and you are given lots of these labels that you must stitch over your heart. And throughout this process, you never take a second just to stop and ask yourself, is this really the way that it's meant to be? You soon get to a point in this game where you are forced to take a look at yourself through pure discontentment, because you intuitively feel that something's not right. Now there's a part of you that knows you should be getting so much more out of this game. You sense something's missing, but you never realise what part of you it is that speaks to you and gives you these feelings. But it's the same part of you that contemplates. And as you do, you see how this game could be different for you. You conceive of a new path, a new direction, and that excites you and that stirs your soul, and you come crashing back down to this so-called reality. As this now programmed part of you overrides these so-called fantasized daydreams. It now seems too risky, too unrealistic, and you fear the pain that awaits if you dare to go against the grain or be in opposition to all that you have been shown and told. You then worry about what the others will think. You worry about your survival and position in the game. So you remain in a place that's nothing much more than the prison cell, built from the materials and the methods that you've learned in this game, and now you've locked up your potential. You've silenced the real knowing within you. You're sleeping, blinded, and it's this unconscious state of being that's never allowed you to do what you came to do or play the game how it is truly designed. It just confirms your current vision of it. Many decades have since passed and your health was not what it once was. You're bedridden. You know your time in this game is coming to an end. There's nothing much more than you can do than just reflect. And it's in those few final moments of reflection that there's now no pressure. No burdens are placed upon your shoulders. Gone are all your fears, your anxieties, your stress and limitations. It's as if you've been stripped bare of all of these to the point where all there is left is you. You, your true authentic self, and what a feeling it is to be and feel that once again. You are then given that what you have unconsciously sought your whole time in this game. Real understanding and meaning. That which seemed so unclear before now becomes crystal as you realise that this game was nothing but an illusion. It was an illusory life of the so-called norm, the so-called how it is, but how it is was not how it was meant to be. You see, you was lied to, manipulated from birth to conform with a pattern, a system, a paradigm, and as a result you deserted your own unique path, your own precious life purpose, your bliss and your joy, and that would fulfill your life and make a difference in this world. But because you were sleeping, you became no different. You look into that side mirror next to where you lie, and it shines back the life you could have lived, who you could have become. You see your talents never utilised or found. You see the many callings you had but chose to ignore. You see your ideas, dreams, desires you never brought to life, and now they're to die with you. You clearly see that those other players, they were just your parents, your teachers and your society as a whole. And what they didn't know was they were living the illusion too. Their life, like most, had no meaning, no real plan to this crazy game. Had a plan for them, and all that they fed you was what they had been sold before, sold by the ones who created the illusion, the elites, who used their power to subliminally disempower you. Now you had just became another copy of the same brand off of the same production line where you was fed a story. It was a story that was wrapped up in a promise, that promise of that great day in the future, that day of happiness, completion. So you worked hard for that day, and you struggled on that ladder, and you risked your whole life not doing what you truly wanted, on the bet that you could buy yourself the freedom to do it later. But that day never came, because that day doesn't exist. This means you was always living for somewhere where you wasn't. This made you miss your life, the gift, the present moment. And with that comes a bitter taste in your mouth from that hypnotic pill that you had swallowed all them years ago. You see that team that you was a part of, that was your country, your culture, your community. And you took on their ideas, their belief structures. And those labels that they stitched over your heart, that was your skin colour, the name they gave you, the job title they gave you, your qualifications. And it was these labels that created your unconscious biased opinions and prejudices. It was these that separated you from others, and it was these that swept you along a non-serving path and created a fabricated vision of who you thought you were and what you was capable of. And it was these labels that blunted your growth, closed your eyes and killed your opportunities. You now know that you were once never like this. You came into this game fine, but this game made sure you became defined, and subsequently not so fine. You had been robbed of your authenticity, made into a program robot. You had become the data that had been stored in your mind, and it was those mental programs that controlled your thinking and thus created the reality that you experienced. That was the prison cell, the unfulfilled state of existence that stopped you moving forward and living fully. You see all of this now because you have become enlightened. You place your hand in your pocket to find that key to the cell that has held you for so long. You realise you've had it in your pocket your whole life. You now walk free from the old conditions that have enslaved you for most of your life. You now see the infinite possibilities that awaits outside for you. You recognise for the first time your true power to create. You smile as that once bitter taste in your mouth now turns sweet. Kind of bittersweet, as you realise what a shame it is to finally wake up from this illusory, dreamlike existence just before, sadly, you go back to sleep.